It's time for some real education. The Book of Kells, also known as the Book of Columba, is an illuminated manuscript gospel book in Latin containing the 4 Gospels of the New Testament. It was created in a Columban monastery in Britain in about 800 AD. It's a masterwork of Western calligraphy and represents the pinnacle of manuscript. It's also widely regarded as one of Ireland's finest national treasures. The manuscript takes its name from the Abbey of Kells, which was its home for centuries. Today, it is actually housed in the Trinity College Library in Dublin, which usually has it on display at any given time. 2 of the 4 current volumes, and one shows a major illustration and the other shows a typical text page.
And a great big shout out to our friend in Ireland, Mairead McGuinness, who has recommended this book to us. Now, the Book of Kells we did know of. It's a beautiful, in fact, it was on our list for a little bit later, but we're going to move it up in honor of Mairead. It is a very important piece of literature. And it's one of those works of literature that has a big cultural significance beyond its own beautiful illuminated manuscripts, right? Of course, you've seen illuminated manuscripts of the Gospels, beautiful colors, beautiful calligraphy, treasured works of art in their own right. But this one actually symbolizes something else. It symbolizes the old trope of how the Irish saved civilization. It's a great book to that effect that I read a few years ago. It's a short little book, but it gives a compelling argument about if it weren't for those monks, those Irish Christian Catholic monks working in places like Iona and Columba, these monasteries all across the Isles there. If it weren't for them, when the Vikings were raiding, this is it dates from about 800 AD. This is on the continent. This is the time of Charlemagne, right? Charlemagne becomes the king, the Holy Roman Emperor. But in these monasteries on the outskirts of Europe, these were prime pickings for the Vikings, right? For marauders from all kinds of places. And so the books, it was these Irish monks copying these beautiful books, these editions of the Bible, but also many of the classic texts of the ancient world that were in these libraries. If it weren't for them copying them out, we might have lost them. I mean, so that it really is not an overstatement to say that the Irish, to some extent, really did save major aspects of Western culture. And if you ever want to see a great movie that deals with this, check out Sean Connery in The Name of the Rose, the Umberto Eco classic. The book is better than the movie, but if you get a chance to read the book, do that. Now go to the images themselves. Get a sense there of just how gorgeous they are, right? The king with the book right there. The illustrations and ornamentation of the Book of Kells surpass that of other insular gospel books in extravagance and complexity from this period. The decoration combines traditional Christian iconography with the ornate swirling motifs typical of insular art. Figures of human beings, animals, mythical beasts, the elaborate geometrical patterns like you see there, together with Celtic knots and interlacing patterns in vibrant colors, enliven the manuscript's pages. Many of these minor decorative elements are imbued with absolute Christian symbolism, and including these 4. This is one of my favorite things in the entire Book of Kells. It is the 4 evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John themselves, but figured as avatars. Right? They're avatars that you see carved in the medieval cathedrals. You see them in books like this. Each gospel writer was represented as a particular thing. So the man is always Matthew. The lion is Mark, the ox is Luke, and the eagle is John. And there are very good reasons for this. Matthew is seen as a man because of the idea that it emphasizes that gospel, the humanity of Christ. Mark is a lion, the voice crying out in the wilderness. Luke is the ox, emphasizing the sacrificial nature of that gospel. And John is the eagle, which is the idea of the spiritual emphasis. The Gospel of John is the one that emphasizes Christ as God more than man, and the eagle was the symbol of that. So going to the next image, you see here what is probably the very earliest image of the mother of God and Christ child in the lap of his mother, anywhere in Western culture that we have surviving. And it comes from the Book of Kells. Figuratively, the book is 13 inches wide and 10 inches high. So it's really pretty tiny. Imagine having to do that level of manuscript illumination on a work that was relatively tiny. And they really didn't have glasses back then like we know them today. So that's a lot of Irish monks working on a lot of beautiful projects. Thanks again, Mairead.